Clarke Schmidt has been one of the better starters in the Yankee rotation for quite some time, and the Yankees are seeing a lot of signs of progress that he's made this season and a lot of in-season adjustments and tweaks that have allowed him to get a lot better during the season. Now, Clarke Schmidt started the year in April with a really bad ERA. His ERA was north of 6. He was allowing home runs at a ridiculous rate, and it looked like when Luis Severino returned that Clarke Schmidt was going to be booted out of the rotation, but some more injuries and some setbacks made it so that the Yankees were going to have to keep Schmidt in the rotation for just a little bit longer, and that ended up being a blessing in disguise for Schmidt, who took that opportunity and ran with it. Now, in the month of April, the big reason why he struggled was left-handed hitters absolutely teed off on him, and that was weird because the cutter was supposed to be a pitch that he introduced to deal with left-handed batters, but it just didn't work the way he wanted it to. And in terms of usage against left-handed pitching in the month of April, he was 34.7% cutter, 25% knuckle curveball, 19.8% sweeper, and 15.3% sinker, with a couple of changeups in there at 5.2%. Now, he still has pretty prominent cutter usage at 34.1%, but his sinker usage has gone up and his sweeper usage has gone up as well. Now, I would like to see him include more knuckle curveballs over sweepers. Those just play better to left-handed hitters, and that's something I think they'll work on with him over the course of the season, but the increase in the sinker usage allows him to be a little more unpredictable and create some variance in his pitch usage, something he discussed with Eno Saris in an article with The Athletic talking about how he's transitioned from a reliever to a starting pitcher. He revealed that part of the dialogue he had with Yankee pitching coaching was that he felt like he had to have a little bit more diversity in what he was throwing against left-handed hitters. He felt like he was only throwing 2 pitches to each side, and so it became pretty predictable, and by doing so, he's kept batters more honest, and that's a transition you have to make as a starting pitcher versus as a reliever, where you're just kind of going out there and throwing your best stuff. And by keeping batters honest, his cutter has gotten significantly better this season. If you look at where it was in April, it had a 631 wOBA, a negative 6.8 run value, and a 91.3 mile per hour exit velocity against, which is absolutely atrocious. From May to August, it's a 302 wOBA, a 5.8 run value, a positive this time, and an 88.3 mile per hour exit velocity, which is a lot better than what you're seeing earlier in the year, and it's gone from a really bad pitch, like one of the worst pitches in baseball, to one of the better cutters in baseball. And I think the really big thing here for Clarke Schmidt is sustaining those results and overall just continuing to get a little bit better, continuing to figure out a little bit more about his arsenal and a little bit more about why he may struggle to get strikeouts at certain times, why he may give up long balls in certain spots, why he struggles third time through the order, these type of things that he can continue to identify and improve upon as he continues through the season and enters the off season, as 2024 will be the first time really that he is penciled in for a rotation spot in his career. And this year was a learning experience. This year was supposed to be a year where Clarke Schmidt figures out a lot of things about himself as a starting pitcher and potentially in the bullpen, but it's become a year where he's been relied upon to be one of the important starters in the Yankee rotation because of the mass amount of injuries and unreliability. Nestor Cortez has gone the IL, Luis Severino's gone the IL and has been ineffective, Frankie Montas has yet to make his season debut, Carlos Rodon's been on the IL and ineffective. A lot of the guys the Yankees expected to rely upon this season outside of Garrett Cole just haven't been there, and even some of their depth guys. Domingo Germán obviously has been very up and down in terms of performance this year, and he's out for the rest of the season dealing with alcohol abuse, which is something that obviously you hope he gets better with, and I pray for him and his family, but it does mean that the Yankees are down a starter, and it does place added emphasis on Clarke Schmidt. And with this pressure and with this added responsibility that the Yankees didn't want to place on him coming into the season, he's taken it and he's run with it. So my only big concern is that Clarke Schmidt hasn't thrown this many innings in his professional career ever. He's at 115 innings pitched, and the Yankees are going to have to throw him in the bullpen at some point or limit some starts, but we've seen the velocity go down because of it, and I think that's something they're going to have to at least address at some point during the season, though I wonder when that would be. Ultimately, I'm really encouraged by what Clarke Schmidt's given the Yankees. I'm encouraged by a lot of the signs of progress we've seen overall, and I think that over the course of the season and in the offseason, as you know, he gets a little bit more innings underneath his belt, and next year he feels a little bit more comfortable getting stretched out, the Yankees could have a much better version of Clarke Schmidt. They could have a version of Clarke Schmidt who's throwing 94 miles per hour, 95 miles per hour in mid-August. They could have a Clarke Schmidt who's a little bit more polished. They could have a Clarke Schmidt who could be a sub-4 ERA guy for them, and in their 4 or 5 spot, considering you have Cole, Rodon, and Cortez locked up for at least together for the next 3 years, Rodon and Cole obviously a lot longer, you can really put together a really nice rotation and focus all of your financial and trade assets on trying trying to go out and get big time bats for this team. So ultimately, Clarke Schmidt's carved himself a role on this team long term, and at the end of the day, Clarke Schmidt's a guy who's always been good when he pitches, but the problem is when he pitches. So if this is a breakthrough for him in terms of injury prevention, if this is a breakthrough for him in terms of durability, that's great. And ultimately, you'll love to see a guy who is homegrown become one of the key pieces of this team, and we'll see how he continues to get better going forward. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys can check us out at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course this YouTube page under Fireside Yankees. You guys can check out Empire Sports Media. That's where you have all of our articles, and we'd really appreciate you guys if you stop by and read those. And of course, you guys can follow me at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter. I've got a lot of stats on there, so if you guys want that, make sure to follow, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much, and let us know what you guys think in the comment section below about Clarke Schmidt. Peace out, everyone. Stay hot. Let's go Yankees.